Everyone, it's Annette Green here. I'm working in my planner today. It is week 30, and every week I do a craft or craft related video, and today is a planner page because it's the end of the month, and that's what I do at the end of every month. Unless you're living under a rock, you know that this past week is all about the Olympics. And I am going to do a page about that because honestly, I've been working a lot and I didn't take any photos of anything I've physically done. And the Olympics are a big deal. So I'm getting some things prepped to make a Paris 2024 Olympics page. So what I've done is I found this great Eiffel Tower image on my Cricut machine. And I paid like 99 cents for it. I sized it out pretty big. Right now this is the page that I did before, and I need to add a blank page here. That's where I'll be working, but I wanted it to be nice and large. And so what I did first is I made a little sketch, did sort of a miniature of the page dimensions, and I have kind of a rough idea. I don't always do it this way, but this is the way I did it this time. So you can see my Eiffel Tower is going to be going off the page a little bit on the left where my holes are. And I think I'm going to do 3 of the medals hanging down, silver, gold, and bronze, and then perhaps work out some way to do the Olympic rings. And I do have this printed from the internet, this picture of the Seine, with the boats going down and the Eiffel Tower in the background. I think I'll try to work that in small somewhere. And then Paris 2024 also, and then just a little bit of a journaling tag. Got a couple of dies I grabbed over here, and these are from my circles, banners, and ribbons set for Elizabeth Craft Designs. Of course, I'll link it below, and if you use my links, you get 10% off your whole order, so that's kind of a bonus. This is what I'm thinking I'll use, and here's my little magnetic board. I showed how to make one of these. It's like a travel-y kind of stand-up size one. So I'll link to that video too. I did that a couple weeks ago. So I have this one for the medals, and I have this one for the rings, and then of course I have my week 30 number. That comes from my classic alphabet set, also with Elizabeth Craft Designs. So those are sort of like elements I'm pretty sure that I need with my Eiffel Tower and a photo. And so now I need to pick my background paper and get started. And although I only do 1 page per week, I do like to have my spreads sort of coordinate as far as color. So if this was my page from last week, since this is my page from last week, I'm going to go with a compatible kind of colored base paper. And this is from my Harmonious Hodgepodge paper collection. I'm actually holding it upside down. It should be like this. And I like all these little swirls. It's very French to me, so I'm going to use that one as my base. And to cut the page, of course, I use the page die from Planner Essentials 56, the tickets and tabs die. A whole bunch of great stuff on here. And I may use some other elements on here, but for now I'm just using the page die to get started. I was just thinking ahead how, gosh, I have gold and silver cardstock, but I don't have bronze. But I do have these great markers. These are metallic markers from Spectrum Noir, and I have 2 different shades of gold. I'm going to test this out on just the scrap sheet here and see which one of these I like, and that way I can just die cut that. Okay. Rather than having to have different colored cardstock, I can color in my pieces with these. Let's see, this is the bronze. So I'm just kind of checking them out, see which ones go nicely together. And I see it right clearly there that these 2 are too similar. So that was that first gold. That was sort of a warmer gold. So we're going to go with these last 3 markers here, these 3 colors. Yes, I could die cut these first out of this white cardstock, but I think it's going to be better to like color in the area first and then die cut it. Just have to make sure that it's completely covered in the area that you want to cut out. Okay, that's going to work, I think. So I'll just do that with these other 2 colors as well. Okay, those turned out pretty cute. I like the way they look, and I think coloring them first really helped. It really helps get in there on those edges where you don't have to do it after the fact. Okay, so I have my little photo picked out and trimmed, and then I've got Paris 2024 cut out, got my page, and I've just been selecting some colors for my rings. Again, you could do the same thing. If you don't have a bunch of colors of cardstock, you can color onto paper and then die cut that. Now, I think these rings are going to be a pretty good size, although it's going to overpower the page maybe just a little bit. So I was going to consider going a little bit smaller and maybe do this size. So I'm going to tape these two together with a little bit of removable tape so I get that perfect ring, and we'll see how that works out. So I'm basically getting these lined up pretty much centered. Yes, you could do this on the Cricut really easily. And if this doesn't work out, then I'll definitely do that. But I'm taking some of this tape and I'm going to just hold those together like that. Of course, I've taped it to my table, but gently pull that up and make sure they stay together. There we go. And then so that that doesn't always stick to each piece of paper and you don't have to worry about it, you can kind of trim closely around this and get rid of that extra tape so it's not so sticky, but it's still holding those together. And then we'll just go for it. Now, I didn't work extra hard to make sure everything's matchy-matchy exactly with the Olympic rings, so you know, it's just a little planner page. All right, let's see how that turned out. Of course, we're going to get this nice little circle in the middle we can save for something else. But it looks like a nice, perfect ring. So I'll do that with the other 4 colors. Okay, my little rings look cute, and now I'm just kind of laying things out on my page here, trying to get an idea of what's going to work well. So I think my accent color here is going to be the black. So my 30's in black. I have my Paris 2024 that's printed in black, and I think I'm going to back it onto some black cardstock just to kind of set it off. Have that be across the top, perhaps. And I've got my metals. I still need to make like the little ribbon things that come down from the metals. And you can see I've substituted what I thought was going to be my journaling area with that nice photo of the Seine and the boat and everything. So now I'm just trying to figure out where journaling is going to happen. And so I grabbed this cute element from, it's actually a Sidekick planner page, planner die, the Sidekick Pocket Page Fillers 2. I like this kind of pennant style. And I love that we are seeing through the rings too. So it doesn't matter if it's bigger than the rings and overlapping because you can see through. So I just need to decide what I want to cut out with that paper. Kind of have that in line just like that with my photo. And we're really getting there now. For that journaling pennant, I picked this cut apart page from my Harmonious Hodgepodge, and I believe that die is going to fit right in there perfectly. So get all those nice little straight rules that I can journal on. So I'm going to get that cut out too. I did just cut out some hole reinforcements. This is from the first reinforcement variety pack. I use these guys right here, and they're in black, so those are going to go on there eventually. So let me get this cut out really quick. Absolutely perfect, and I love it. I didn't even really think about it or realize it, but there's little stitch dots in this die, which is really cute on this cardstock. So that turned out nice. So I can save this because I can cut away that inside and around the outside and make a nice little frame for my next page. As I was going to put that die back, I noticed that there is a nested larger one, but it's a little bit too much of a, you know, like a border. And I feel like it just makes your eye just look at the journaling, don't look at the page, you know, so I think it's too much. What I could do is glue these together and then trim this a little bit closer. I may or may not do that. Possibly just inking the edges of this will solve that problem of it sort of being competitive with my eye. But now I really just have to glue things together. I went ahead and adhered my little metals to some blue cardstock because that's how they appear when I look at them online. And I'm just trying to get a position so that we can still have our Paris 2024 maybe this one can go up a little higher, and then we can start to overlap these. I'm not going to go through all the trouble to like try to mimic how they look. I know that there's like a hexagon logo in there and everything on the real metal, but I think we're just getting the basic idea here. So I think that looks good. Yes. All right, so I'm going to get these glued down. Now, while I am gluing, we'll chat a bit, if you don't mind. If you're new here, welcome. Like I said at the top, I do a crafty or craft-related video every week of 2024. Do all kinds of different things, so be sure to check out my playlist. And also, if you just like all the planner making, last year, 2023, every single week I did a planner page, just like this, every week. So you can check that out as well. If you like this and wish that I was doing it every week, just know that I do have a Facebook group. It's called Memory Keeping with Annette. I will link it below. We have a lot of members in there. Everybody's making pages and being inspired by one another and getting ideas. I've seen some really cool ideas myself, just really uplifting and encouraging group of creators, and I love it. So you can check that out, send me an invitation request, and I can add you to the group. And you can join us. Even if you're not making pages, it's a great place to be because you can get ideas, and maybe you can jump in 2025 because we're going to continue next year for sure. All right, I'm going to keep working and get most of the stuff on here. If I have to stop and show you how I have to make some decisions, I will do that. I did decide to put the black behind there, and I did trim it closer. Okay, so everything's on the page right now, and believe it or not, the trickiest thing to this page was getting these rings right. So I would recommend using grid paper like I have here. And if you look at, which I have the rings over here on my iPad, kind of looking at the image, they don't just glue on top of each other like this. So I have glued where I know one of the circles is supposed to be on top of the other. And in this spot right here, there's no glue because this yellow has to go behind the blue in that space. So I need to add a little glue there so that can happen. And then it happens a couple of other times here. So I'm just going to take my time and do that, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, I did it. I checked it. Looks right. Looks good. It really wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's just kind of getting them lined up to start with and getting those first pieces glued together that's really the trick. So I'm going to use a little bit of art glitter glue here and get these in place, and then the page is done. We'll just do a little trimming up of the stuff that's hanging off the edges, maybe give it a little ink around the edge, and it'll be done. So I think this is going to go right smack in the middle. Kind of overlaps everything, which ties it all together. Kind of nice. Hopefully I got it kind of straight. Okay, trim off all this extra stuff. Okay, everything's trimmed up, inked around those edges with a nice dark brown, and we can get this into my planner. Oh, and you know what I forgot? I noticed right here is I need to repunch those holes. So I'm just going to grab my crocodile and use that largest hole punch and punch those few little things out of the holes there. Perfect. Okay, let's get it into our planner. Looks very nice across from my page from before. The page is done. I'm pleased with it. I hope you are too. I hope you enjoyed this today. Always I try to go back to the previous couple of weeks in that month when I do a planner page video like this, just to kind of review some pages I haven't shown you on video that are in my Facebook group. And so on week 27, of course, I'm always using my Harmonious Hodgepodge paper, but I do mix in a few things from other companies here and there. But this is to go with the Label Me Crazy theme that we have going in July with Elizabeth Craft Designs. If you don't know about that, go ahead and check out the Everyday Elements Challenge in the Elizabeth Craft Designs family page. $50 gift certificate to a random winner that participates. So I use my labels here to put my photos on here, and of course my harmonious hodgepodge paper. And over here we have a pocket page, these clear page protectors. This is a full page pocket page now, which I love. You could do that with every single page in your planner if you like. But this one was a little bit about spending the whole week doing prep work for my classes I'm teaching on my cruise in September. We got these cute little scissors here because I was doing a lot of cutting and prepping. And then week 29 was the back side of that pocket page, and I needed a little more space for journaling, so I added one of the journaling flaps that we come out with now with from Elizabeth Craft Designs. Very handy for adding just a little bit more to your page. They're peel and stick. They come in different sizes. I'll link those below as well. But I was able to get 2 more photos on all my journaling by adding just that one little flap, and then have this fun picture here. So that was about our date day, staying at home and doing fun things together, just the 2 of us. And then brings us to week 30. So next time in the Facebook group, I will be working on probably on the back of this to finish out the month of July. And then I'll start in on August. Pages are already pre-done. If you're new here, there is an online course that teaches how to make all these pages for each month. Even though the year is 3/4 of the way almost finished here, you can always go back and buy this any time, any year, whatever. It's not labeled with years or anything, just the months, and they're great introductions to a new month page. So I'll put the link to my Etsy shop so you can find that as well. Thank you again, everybody. I'm so happy you were here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time in the next crafty video.